And for the Kalimantan area, this app provides for Banjarmasin, and Bali area is Denpasar. So the second weakness is the option of transportation mode is not as many as Citymapper. So as we can see, if we move to the Citymapper, we can see many kinds of transportation that you want to use, even if the many kinds of online transportation and even conventional transportation. And Moovit is not providing them. This app is only providing like the most of the conventional transportation, like bus, MRT, LRT. So the option of transportation is limited. The third is the display of the content is not as attractive as Citymapper. Looks ordinary and has no specialty or identity. So if we move to the Citymapper, the display is so attractive with the main color green as the identity of this app. But when we go to the Moovit, maybe we directly reach the home page when we tap the app, and then we reach the home page. So we can find the city landmark as the identity for this app. But the whole identity, in my opinion, is not as attractive as Citymapper. Looks ordinary and has no specialty with the main color white. White color is very useful for the transportation application. So I think this app there is no identity to give the characteristic of this app. The third weakness is the fourth weakness is trip receipts. This app doesn't show the amount of calories through your journey. It's different with the Citymapper that gives you information about calories that you can get for your health, even that is when you choose for walking or even cycling. And Moovit doesn't show this feature, even though this feature can help you about the steps you did in your health. And the fifth, the last weakness is this app is not connecting to the online transportation that I said previously, like the FreeNow, Gap, and Uber. It makes the users difficult to find another alternative of transport. So now we move to the Play Store, and we want to see the ratings and the reviews from the users. So this app has 4.6 stars with the users we can see the first review from Galcinder gives 4 stars for this app. Usually have to use in conjunction with Google Maps to get the best result. I pretty much decide on which line to take on my own and use the app for line arrival times and ride time estimates. My country's public transportation is pretty bad, though, so I guess not all the parameters are accounted for. Lines not arriving or constantly late. Another line is better because it's usually not packed, etc. Google Maps sometimes does a better job with the nature of public transport here. And also there is a John Schlesinger, he gives only one star. He states that the problem with this app is that has the island of Ireland as two separate jurisdictions, Northern Ireland in UK and Ireland. You should have the whole island as a single region. This may fix the problem of no rail lines appearing from Dublin to Belfast. Okay, critical. From SNDMOV gives 3 stars. Working perfectly, but having 9 inbuilt trackers constantly sending data in background. I mean constantly, even if you do not use the app for days, just using battery all the time, requesting 35 permissions, too much battery, too much tracking. Oh, so Moovit is consume much battery if you use it in your mobile phone. Okay, we move to the language features. The language features, the first language feature is different with Citymapper. The first is different with Citymapper. Moovit uses the imperative sentence to ask the data from the users regarding the spot you start and the spot you want to visit. So, like this one, type an address or location. So, it's like an imperative sentence that you can choose as your destination. So, for example, I want to go to Orchard Road, and then I choose the starting point. And the second language feature is the using of the prepositions, such as at, left at, 7:32, and then from, traverse place, and then walk to, traverse place, to, and then for, wait for, and then at Battery Route, on Esplanade Drive, on Fullerton Road, and so on. And the third language feature is the using of the abbreviations, such as min to indicate minute, and then to indicate meter, RT to indicate road, Fullerton RD, Fullerton route, and then Fullerton SQ to indicate square, and then SGD to indicate the Singapore dollar, and then KM to indicate kilometers, and then the Capitol Building, Stanford Road, Derby Gauge Station, Richland House, and many more. So the fourth is the language feature is the using of imperative sentences or giving directions, just as the first, like I discussed previously, Moovit is giving the directions for every step that you have to do when you get the one point or your destination, such as, for example, walk to Raffles Place. The first, you have to start from Fullerton Road and then continue straight on Esplanade Drive, make a U-turn left at Esplanade Drive, continue straight on Collier Quay, continue straight on Fullerton Road, turn left towards Fullerton Square, and so on and so on. And then the imperative sentence, I mean not only that, but like the first one is start from Marion Park and then walk to Raffles Place and then wait for the list of the bus that will arrive, and then ride to Penang route with the 2 stops, City Hall and Dobby Gout. And then the next the language feature is the using of mode of transport mode. The using of mode of transport mode. The using of transport mode number. So for example, like Somerset and S23, and then for example the bus that will arrive to the station 700 or 167 or 162, and then etc. And then the sixth language feature is the using of passive form. For example, like this one, suggested routes is the passive form of this app, and then the using of gerunds such as walking and biking routes, and then the using of participles such as combined transit and personal bike routes or shared mobility, and then the using of the nouns to show the place such as Raffles Place, Fullerton Road, and then Fullerton Square, Marion Park, Somerset, City Hall, Dobby Court, Esplanade Drive, Sembawang Interchange, Orchard Road, Street Square, or Singapore is announced to show the place of this app. And the 10th is the using of single noun. I find when I choose this feature, this section, walk to Fullerton Road until Fullerton Square, so we will make a U-turn left at Esplanade Drive. So it's a part of single noun from this app. The 11th, the using of plural nouns such as stops, directions, and routes. So we can see this is the directions, and then routes, and then stops that we can see in this section. Right to Somerset, there is 3 stops. So stops is part of the using of plural nouns of this app. And then the last language feature is the using of adverbs of time. So I find it when I choose this, and there is a default now and last lines for today. So now and today is parts of adverbs of time from this app. And then when we compare with Citymapper, especially from the covering countries and languages that we have analyzed previously, Moovit has been covering more cities and language, and then from the display or the icons of both apps are clearly, but Citymapper has more iconic, or I mean like the identity or characteristic, for example like the main color and then the animation that give or make the user easy to understand, and then like I said and when like we have discussed previously, for Citymapper is not displaying the distance from one point to another, but Moovit is display the distance from one point to another. As you can see, there is a description of the distance that you have to reach, that you have to do for 460 meters, and so on. And also, Citymapper is not giving the detail of the directions when you take for walking and cycling. It only giving you about the information like the calories and estimated time, but Moovit is giving you detailed directions that makes you easy to get the destination or station that you want to reach. So I think that's all from our analysis. Citymapper and Moovit is based on the function is the same, but for the context of the using, Citymapper only provides is only provided for big cities in the world, and Indonesia is not belonging to this feature or this service. And Moovit is provide Indonesia, is covering Indonesia areas, but still not all the Indonesia areas are covered, but Moovit is provide for Indonesia service, and Moovit is also providing many languages that makes the users easy to set the language that they understand. But Citymapper is only provide 9 languages, but when you don't understand with the language, so it's your business. Yeah, I think that's all from our analysis. So thanks for your attention. I'm Alvin Putra, and my friend Arif Pradana want to say see you.